everyone, this is Joelle from Nevertheless She Budgeted, and today I'm finally going to be getting to my annual check-in from 2020. I know it's about 3 months late, but if you like this type of video and you like budgeting videos and other stuff like that, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for when I do post videos, which has been a little bit more inconsistent lately. I've always been inconsistent, but it's been really inconsistent lately. And so I'm trying to finally, I guess, get back into it and make sure that I'm keeping y'all up to date on my debt journey and all of that. So again, if you like this type of video and you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back, and I'm sorry for being so inconsistent. Anyways, let's just get right into this. This is my annual check-in from 2020. As you can see here at the top, I had started out with $26,467.71 in debt. And I paid down quite a bit of that. I'm really proud of myself. I started this journey in July and August. I really got serious about it in August of 2020. So within the last 5 months, this is the progress that I've made. I'm going to go ahead and just start with the categories. I have my debts listed, my previous balance or the balance that I started with, how much I paid towards principal and interest, and then the current balance at the end of the year. So this is not the current as of today in March. This is the current as of January 1 or December 31st. All right, so I'm gonna start, I have these listed out from my largest to my smallest. This is the debt snowball method that Dave Ramsey teaches. I've also used a little bit of sprinkling in there with the avalanche method, just because I had some 0% interest cards and debts that were coming due that needed to be paid off by a certain time frame, or else I would have been charged extra interest, and I wasn't interested in that. So that's kind of how these are all listed out. You'll see that when I start revealing them. So for my car loan, I started out with $19,634.75. This was not my beginning balance when I bought the vehicle. It was about $21,000 and some change. But I had already paid about $2,000 on it by the time I started this journey, and so that's the balance that I went off of. I paid $1,059.20 towards the principal. I was doing just the minimum payments at that time because this was my largest debt. Therefore, I was just paying the minimum on it, and I was throwing everything else that I had towards my lower balanced debts. In that time frame, so from August to December, I paid $350.24 in interest, and I ended the year with $18,575.55 remaining on the balance of my car. Moving down, I had my carpet bill. This is from when I bought my home. I bought my house in May of 2020 and put carpeting in it just because it kind of smelled a little bit, and so I wanted to replace the carpeting. I didn't do a whole bunch of updating to this house, so this is really the biggest thing that I did last year. Anyways, it started out with $2,116.15. Again, this balance, I believe I had already paid a small amount on it before I started this journey, if not only 1 month's payment. I paid $370.35 in principal. This was a 0% APR rate purchase that I made. It was a same as cash for 12 months kind of promo. And so I did not pay any interest. At the end of the year, after making minimum payments only, I had $1,745.80 left. Moving down to Amazon. This kind of went up and down throughout the time that I was doing this, just because I was making Christmas purchases and doing other things with it. However, I did not necessarily add any extra debt to this card that I remember, at least. It has been 3 months since the end of the year, so I might have added a little bit of extra debt to it, but it was usually something that if I bought something from Amazon or something that I used my card for. It was because I was using it for the rewards benefits, and then I was paying off at least the balance, the new balance or the new debt that I would have added to it off immediately within that next pay period. Or within that pay period because I had the money in a sinking fund, if that makes sense. So again, I started out with $1,173.62 as the starting balance in July, August. I paid $239.33 towards the card and $131.16 in interest. This is a 4% APR credit card due to the Service Member Civil Relief Act. I am able to have a really low APR on my credit cards. But again, it doesn't look like I paid all that much on it, and I think that's just because I was paying the minimums on it, and I believe on this card it was only $35 a month for the minimum payments. Moving down, I have my Apple credit card. This is what I used to buy my cell phone. At the time when I started this journey, I had $419 remaining, and I paid $419. This was also a 0% APR for 1 year. And at the end of the year, I had a zero balance on that card. So that is awesome. I paid off one card. And I have a couple more down, obviously. If this one's paid off, you're gonna start seeing some other paid off balances. So that's really awesome. For my parents, this was some money that my mom and my stepdad had loaned me to buy my house. I did a 0% down VA loan on my home. And when it came to closing, I ended up not having as much as I thought that I needed in savings. And so my parents generously gave me about $3,000 to help cover the final costs, and I paid them back over the course of the year. I was doing $500 payments towards that. And so I had $2,000 starting, I paid $2,000, did not have an interest because it was to my parents, and finally had a zero balance at the end of the year. For my Citibank credit card, you'll see this one pop up in my future debt videos. Like I said, I'm already 3 months into the year, so I have done some finagling with my money since the beginning of the year, and you'll see that coming up in some of my next videos about my debt journey. But my Citibank card was a balance transfer from my Amazon credit card. So it was on a 0% APR interest rate for a certain amount of time. And so that's what this balance was remaining, or $655.50. As you can see, this number is larger than this number, so it kind of goes out of order in terms of the snowball. Same thing with this number being larger than this number. But again, these were 0%. I wanted to just get my parents paid off, and I was already giving them a pretty large chunk of minimum payment. So that's why this one got paid off quicker than like these other ones, as well as the fact that this one was a 0% APR, this one was smaller, and I think this one was running out. The APR was ending earlier, the promotion time frame was ending earlier than this one was. So that's kind of why I paid this one off first before this one. So again, I paid $655.50. Which was the previous balance, no interest, and that one was zero by the end of the year. And last but not least, this was a personal loan that I took out to help someone out. He paid me back much earlier in the year, but I used that money elsewhere because I was stupid. And so I just paid down the minimum balances on this one until I started my journey. Once I started my journey, I had $468.69 starting out, and I paid that as well as $6.38 in interest. So I actually was able to pay this one off basically the same month that I started this journey. I think maybe it was the next month, like September, and I started paying and getting serious about this in August. So pretty sure in September I was able to finally put this one out of its misery and give myself a 0% balance. So overall, I'm gonna go ahead and just scroll you down here to my totals. Again, I had $26,467.71 in debt. I paid $5,000 $343.23. And total interest, I paid $487.78, leaving my end of the year balance at $21,124.48, which was, I don't know why, but it's kind of a pretty number to me, although I hate that number because it's debt. I'm gonna go ahead and move you down here to reveal my totals. It's basically a reiteration of a lot of these. So as you can see, my starting balance, total paid. So this was this plus this number got me $5,831.01. My total paid to principal, obviously just translated down here, and same with my interest. And then my end of year was a translation down. I'm going to move you up here just a little bit so you can see my net worth for the end of the year, which I'm actually really surprised by, but I think this is all a very good thing. So obviously, if I'm in a positive net worth, that's a good thing. So go ahead and move you up a little bit. My net worth down here, this is my assets and my liabilities. So I have my house. I paid $171,000 for it, but the actual balance that I ended up taking out, I think, was $168,000. But so this is it was appraised at $165,000, however. So as you can see, this is the number that I was assuming that my home was worth, and this is the number that I took out from the bank. I believe that this was actually my starting balance on my loan. Everything else came out of pocket, and that's kind of what I mean by my parents needed to help me out, just because I was expecting about $3,000 or $4,000 for closing costs. However, I wasn't expecting to pay over $5,000 extra in order to, I guess, win the bidding war in order to get the home. Moving down, I had my car loan. My car loan was $18,575.55 once I started this, or I'm sorry, by the end of the year. So this is my current totals as of December 31st. So this is how much I owed on the vehicle. When I Kelley Blue booked the vehicle of the value of my vehicle, it said that it was about $13,200. And I think that that's on the low end. That's saying that it's just in good shape. It's not excellent and it's not well kept. I do keep my vehicle very well, I feel. There is a slight scratch on the one side, which I do plan on getting taken care of eventually. It's not something that's going to cause rust just because it didn't go down too far past the paint, and there's no metal in that section of the car. So I'm not super worried about it, but once I get that fixed, I'm hoping that I can probably change the Kelley Blue Book value of the car to reflect a more accurate value. Moving down, I had listed my liabilities for the 2 remaining balances on my debts. So obviously this is the amount that I owe on my home, and then the 3 debts that were remaining that you can see up here, 1, 2, 3. I just moved them down here to the bottom. So at the end of December, this is how much I owed in debt and on my home. And then on this side, I have an investment account. It's called a thrift savings plan with the military, and I was putting about 10% my entire career towards it. I did some changes with percentages going to what types of funds and stuff at the time, and up until December, I was putting 15%. After September to December, I had changed that to 15% in order to mitigate and cover some Social Security deferment things that happened due to COVID. So at the end of the year, I had $40,000, $943.21 in that account. In my savings, I had $1,217.01, and then in my checking, I had $180. I try to keep my checking at $100, so that is kind of my cushion. I also have a checking account with a different bank that has $30 in it, so it's not a big account or anything. It's just kind of my emergency money in case like I break down on the side of the road. I keep that card with me, and if, you know, for some reason something happens that's more than $30, then I have another $100 in my checking account, which is an easy transfer with just the app from my savings. So this is my emergency fund at the moment. I have $1,200 in the emergency fund, then a $100 cushion on my checking in case any bills go over, if I need anything extra, and then again $30 in another checking that, or I think at the time, at the beginning of the year, I had $150 in checking as my cushion, and then I had the $30, so that's how I got the $180 here. I had the $30 in my second checking account. So when I moved down to look at my totals, my assets added up to $222,540 and 22, and my liabilities added up to $188,243.43. So when I take my assets and my liabilities and I add them together, which is technically, this is a negative number, so my positive minus my negative, I guess, I got $34,296.79 as my net worth. So it's not great, but it's, you know, something normal. I'm 28 years old, so I don't feel like that's a bad place to be in. I will be in a much better place when you see my next video. So I'm gonna leave this here for now. I really appreciate, once again, all of you joining me on my journey and waiting so patiently for this video to come out. I have really been wanting to do this video for a long time, obviously. I just haven't had the motivation. I've been going through a lot personally that has kind of just kept me from doing so. But again, I'm back, hopefully for good this time, and I will try to keep you guys as up to date as possible with all of my changes in debt and my budget. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys have a great rest of your week, a great rest of your month, great rest of your quarter, and I will see you again very, very soon with my next March debt update, as well as my quarterly debt update. I have a stimulus budget coming up for my stimulus check, and then I also have obviously all of April's budgeting coming. So please stay tuned, join me on that, and I will see you very soon. Bye!